In the Black Out Loud.
The art of modern leadership. Today's leaders are tech-savvy, inclusive, emotionally intelligent, and arguably under more pressure than ever before. How can modern leaders navigate the complexity of the job and prepare for the challenges ahead? By Susan Muldowney. This article has been edited for audio purposes. Article begins. Ask any business leader about the view from the top, and they're sure to offer a mixed outlook. Geopolitical and financial headwinds continue to batter the global economy. Talent attraction and retention remain a source of pressure. Capital investment in technologies like artificial intelligence, AI, continues to grow, but the payoff remains unclear. And while stakeholder expectations around sustainability are sharpening the focus on environmental, social and governance, ESG, performance, regulatory change is turning up the heat on non-financial disclosures. Welcome to the world of modern leadership. Though high performance earned many leaders their senior position, the skills that helped them climb the ladder do not guarantee success in the current paradigm. Adaptive challenges demand a fresh approach. Beyond sharp business acumen and financial stewardship, leaders of today are required to employ emotional intelligence, be inclusive and innovative, lead with purpose, care for the mental health of employees, and manage remote teams. They need to possess visionary qualities, embrace sustainability, and grasp the potential of emerging technologies while balancing ethical judgment and strategic agility. Demands on modern leaders have arguably never been higher. Aspiring leaders must prepare for the complexities of the task, and those in the top job must find ways to maintain their resilience. Doing more with less. A confluence of trends is shaping the expectations of modern leadership. Workplaces today are more diverse than ever, with 5 generations working side by side for the first time. The shift to remote and hybrid work models has also created new challenges around workplace culture and collaboration. In a world of growing technology, people feel more and more disconnected, says Melinda McCormack, founder and director of leadership consultancy MYM & Co. People in organizations want to feel seen, heard, and valued. That traditional top-down control approach doesn't work anymore. Megumi Miki, leadership and culture consultant and author of Quietly Powerful, says the current economic climate has increased the focus on productivity, which creates additional challenges for leaders. They face internal pressure from shareholders and the board to be more productive and to do more with less, she says. At the same time, employees expect care, connection, authenticity, and psychological safety. Attracting and retaining talent also remains a struggle in industries like accounting. Data from recruitment firm People2People suggests a persistent talent gap, with more than half of accounting teams in Australia and New Zealand reporting that they are under-resourced. Chuangli Ku FCPA, Senior Finance Director and Penang Site Lead at multinational technology company AMD, names talent retention as a primary challenge for modern leaders. Of course, money is important, and people also want career progression, but culture and a sense of purpose really matter, she says. A measured approach. Technology like AI has experienced explosive growth in recent years, presenting leaders with both opportunity and risk. Data from Mordor Intelligence shows that while the market size of AI in accounting reached $7.52 billion, $11.28 billion Australian dollars in 2025, it is expected to hit $50.29 billion, $75.43 billion Australian dollars by 2030. Tracy Sheen, technology consultant and author of AI and You, says leaders must invest in their own digital literacy and accept a degree of uncertainty in a rapidly evolving environment. We need to foster curiosity and show a willingness to almost think like a toddler by exploring the why of technology, she says. Ethics also needs to be front and center of any new technology discussion. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Sheen adds that leaders who succeed in digital transformation are those who ground investment in long-term strategy rather than current trends. We need to test AI adoption like a fire drill, so we know what to do before it happens, she says. For example, if OpenAI releases artificial general intelligence next week, what would that mean for us? Hafizuddin Sulaiman, FCPA, officer in charge and CFO of Malaysian property development company UEM Sunrise, says, tech investment requires a measured approach. We have developed internal AI leads in our teams, he explains. For example, in some teams, we rely on systems that we already have in terms of licensing. One of them is Microsoft Copilot, and we typically give additional licenses to select members of our teams who take a sandbox approach to increasing user knowledge and seeing how it impacts our business, rather than going with a full system procurement, he says. Hafizuddin believes that this is the best way to implement new tech into an organization. If you have a new limousine, but you are not equipped to drive it, you may not get the best value and experience out of it. The ESG effect. Technological advancements and a changing regulatory landscape have transformed financial reporting, and leaders must now navigate real-time reporting, ESG metrics, and predictive modeling to remain competitive and compliant. Sustainability and governance are also sources of competitive advantage. Analysis by McKinsey & Company shows companies that achieve better growth and profitability than their peers while improving sustainability and ESG not only outgrow their peers, but exceed them in shareholder returns. Stakeholders increasingly expect leaders to act on ESG issues, while concerns around greenwashing are also attracting regulatory scrutiny. There's a big push for the ESG agenda, and, unfortunately, greenwashing exists, says Hafizuddin. As a property developer, how do we make a real business case for ESG as part of our strategic pillars? To me, you have to believe it to operationalize it. It can't be a branding exercise, he says. UEM Sunrise currently maintains 343 acres of regional open space just north of Singapore, known as Sea Park, as part of its ESG commitment. It was recently recognised by the Malaysian Book of Records as the largest urban green recreational park in Malaysia, says Hafizuddin. You can imagine the challenge of maintaining that, but we feel that it is important. Being a property developer, it is easy for me to just be the capitalist, but leaders cannot be solely motivated by returns, he says. People first. As leaders continue to juggle competing demands, McCormick says that they can't stick to their old formula. As you come up the ranks, it is all about managing a task successfully, she says. But when you're asked to lead an organization or lead teams, it is not about who is the best person technically. It is about who can get the most out of their people. Jamie Getgood, founder and CEO of People Avenue, says people-centered leadership has never been more important. Every organization needs to focus on how to embed AI, or it will be left behind. But it is people who will underpin that, so leaders can't lose sight of what people need, he says. They want someone who is visionary, who has purpose, and who can empower them. Getgood was head of HR for Holden Manufacturing in Australia when its local operations closed in 2017. Prior to its closure, he says the organisation was transformed through people-first leadership. Every leader at Holden was required to dedicate 30 minutes to get to know their people, he recalls. When leaders organise their businesses or departments, it is very easy to take a project management approach by setting goals and objectives and moving forward. They don't often spend enough time with individuals, asking about their goals and getting to know the employee, he says. Research from Gallup shows that engaged teams achieve 23% higher profitability and 18% greater productivity. Employee engagement is closely linked to purpose, Koo says. This year, she introduced a theme called GROW, an acronym for Great Relevance, Opportunity and Will, to guide her team's culture and mindset. Koo says leaders cannot succeed in isolation from their teams. Leaders get a lot of glory when things go right. But it is important to recognise that success is never achieved alone. True leadership shines when you work together as one team. Lead with integrity. Modern leaders carry an increased load. Research into workplace well-being by Deloitte and Workplace Intelligence shows more than 40% of C-suite leaders are stressed, 36% are exhausted, and almost 70% are considering quitting their job to find something that better supports their well-being. According to Hafizuddin, leaders need to develop an ability to let go. If you are supported by people who understand your vision, that's much easier to do, he says. Mickey agrees that letting go is essential to building resilience among modern leaders. A sign of a good leader today is a willingness to put your hand up and say, I don't know everything, and I need to draw on the expertise and insights of others in my team, she says. Hafizuddin believes professional integrity can help modern leaders navigate demanding terrain. There are many challenges today, such as how to stay focused while keeping the team motivated. How do you leverage technology to free up the team to do more strategic work? How do you empower your teams to take ownership and drive the business forward while giving them a safety net? I anchor that with ensuring that we have total trust. Long-lasting business relationships are always anchored on integrity and trust. To me, that is non-negotiable.
In the Black Out Loud.